If you've ever seen a photo of Hong Kong's skyline, that wall of glass towers packed along Victoria Harbour, there's a good chance you were looking at something this one family helped build. Their company built Hong Kong's tallest skyscraper. They own shopping malls that see hundreds of thousands of visitors a day, residential towers that house entire neighborhoods, and office buildings where countless companies operate without ever knowing who their landlord really is. For decades, this family was considered untouchable, Asia's quiet royalty of real estate. But behind that empire is one of the most dramatic corporate stories in modern history. A story that includes a kidnapping, a boardroom coup staged by a mother against her own son, and a corruption trial that sent one of the world's richest men to prison. This is the story of the Kwok family and the empire that almost tore itself apart. The story starts with a man named Kwok Tak-seng. He was born in mainland China in 1911 and emigrated to Hong Kong in the years after World War II, like hundreds of thousands of others looking for opportunity in a rapidly growing city. He started small, trading construction materials, but Kwok had an idea that would define the next 60 years of Hong Kong real estate. Land on the edges of the city was cheap and the city was only going to keep growing. Buy land before anyone else wants it, then build when demand catches up. In 1963, he founded a company with two business partners, Sun Hung Kai. By 1972, it was listed on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange, and over the following decades, it grew into the largest property developer in the city, eventually one of the most valuable real estate companies on the planet. Kwok Tak-seng ran the company until his death in 1990. He left it to his three sons, Walter, Thomas, and Raymond, who would inherit not just a fortune, but a structure built around one family trust controlled by their mother. And that detail, who controls the trust, is going to matter a lot later in this story. Under the three brothers, the company didn't just survive, it became something close to infrastructure for an entire city. Their most famous building is the International Commerce Center, Hong Kong's tallest skyscraper, towering over Victoria Harbour at over 1,500 feet. It houses offices, a luxury hotel, and one of the highest viewing platforms in Asia. But the ICC is just the most visible piece. Walk through almost any major shopping mall in Hong Kong, and there's a good chance it's theirs. Vast retail complexes connected directly to train stations, designed so that hundreds of thousands of commuters pass through every single day, whether they mean to shop or not. Residential towers across the city carry their name too. Entire apartment complexes housing tens of thousands of families, many of them built using the same strategy the founder pioneered decades earlier. Acquire land before it's valuable, then build as the city expands around it. And the empire doesn't stop at real estate. Through other companies the family controls, they own a major mobile telecom carrier and a data center and technology arm, meaning their influence touches not just where people live and shop, but how they communicate and how businesses store their data. By recent estimates, the family's combined fortune sits in the tens of billions of dollars. And despite everything we're about to get into, that fortune has never really stopped growing, which makes what happened next even more remarkable. Long before any of the corporate drama, the family had already lived through something most billionaires never experience. One of the Kwok brothers was kidnapped and held for ransom by one of Hong Kong's most notorious criminals, a case that shocked the city and made headlines for weeks. He was eventually released, but those close to the family say the experience changed him permanently. Fast forward to the 2000s. Walter, the eldest brother, and the one who'd been kidnapped years earlier, was running the company as chairman. But in 2008, something extraordinary happened. Walter was removed from his position, and the person who orchestrated it wasn't a rival or an outside investor. It was his own mother. Kwang Shu-hing, the family matriarch and controller of the family trust, sided with her two younger sons and removed Walter as chairman, citing concerns about his health and decision-making. Walter didn't go quietly. He fought to be reinstated, and what followed was a 5-year family feud, played out partly behind closed doors and partly in public, over control of a trust worth well over $30 billion. And then, in 2012, while that feud was still unresolved, the story took an even bigger turn. Thomas and Raymond, the two brothers now running the company, were arrested by Hong Kong's anti-corruption agency, alongside a former senior government official on bribery allegations connected to a major property deal. It became one of the biggest corruption cases in the city's history. In 2014, Thomas Kwok was convicted and sentenced to prison. Raymond was acquitted and continued running the company. Let that sink in for a moment. One of the richest men in Asia, co-chairman of a company worth tens of billions of dollars, went to prison while his brother kept running the empire they'd inherited together. A year after the corruption case concluded, the family finally resolved their feud too. Walter and his branch of the family received an equal share of the company's stock, and an uneasy peace was restored. Walter passed away in 2018, and today his sons represent his side of the family's interests, while Raymond continues to lead the company his father built. On paper, the story has a happy ending. The company is still standing, still one of the most valuable property developers in Asia. Its towers still defining the skyline of one of the world's most photographed cities. The fortune, if anything, is larger than ever. But zoom in past the balance sheet and the cost of those years becomes a lot harder to ignore. A son was publicly removed from the company he'd spent his life running by his own mother. Years were lost to a legal battle between brothers over a trust most families would never have to think twice about. And one of the richest men in Asia spent time in prison, a fate that no amount of wealth could buy his way out of. The company survived, but the version of this family that existed before 2008, the one where three brothers ran their father's empire together, never came back. Walter passed away in 2018, still estranged in many ways from the company he'd built his identity around. $40 billion bought almost everything. It didn't buy back those years or that relationship. That tension between what money can protect and what it can't is something we're going to see again and again in this series. Next time, we're heading to Latin America, to a telecom empire built so quietly that most of the world has no idea. One family controls a huge share of an entire continent's phone and internet access. If you want to see how that story unfolds, make sure you're subscribed, because these dynasties only get bigger from here.